Alright, Shalom, it's the brother Atazawamia from GMS South Carolina camp. I want to first and foremost give all praises to Yahweh Shemal Shai. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone talking this truth. And Shalom to the Akim out there pushing the truth and sincerity. Alright, this lesson, Lord willing, is going to be short, straight to the point, Lord willing. But it's addressed the topic about rape, okay? Because I had this Israelite guy, alright, Yarad Yisrael. He basically condemned me, alright, off of some he heard. He done already got 4 thumbs up and everything, alright. He said that when it comes to GMS, I don't understand. How can any man not think it's wrong to rape your sisters and beat your wife and be joined to the enemy? You're good brothers in GMS, but also demons. Okay, then I responded back with saying we teach that rape is lawful, which I'm going to show with the scriptures, as well as research I found, alright, which it all goes back to the scriptures, proving that in the ancient world there was some that was considered unlawful rape, and then it was rape that was justified by the law, statutes, and commandments. Alright, now the thing is, we teach that because that's part of the Bible, okay? But do we condone that or promote, okay, you know, just because it's in the scriptures, it's lawful, should you go out and do it? Alright, the answer is no. Okay, so I'm going to go through the scriptures and prove that, because he tried to condemn me, alright, by saying that the penalty for raping your sister is death. Read Deuteronomy chapter 22 verse 25 through 26. Alright, so let's get into the scriptures. Alright, go straight to the point. Deuteronomy chapter 22, I'll start at verse 22. Alright, so we get the understanding. Alright, it says, if a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, then they shall both of them die, both the man that lie with the woman and the woman. So shalt thou put away evil from Israel, which that's adultery. Okay, alright, because a man sleeping with another man's woman, according to the Bible, is adultery, which I already did a lesson going in depth about adultery and how it's viewed in the eyes of the Heavenly Father, and what it is, and that it's on the page, so you know you can find it on there and go into it. So let's keep reading. Alright, now it's going to give you a scenario in Deuteronomy chapter 22 verse 23. It says, if a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her. Okay, now what is a damsel according to the Bible? Alright, the word damsel in the Hebrew, the Strong's Hebrew 5291, Na'ira, which means a girl, damsel, female servant of a young woman, maid, marriageable young woman. Okay, alright. According to the Bible, that age is around the age of 12. This is Mark chapter 5 verse 42. It says, and straightway the damsel rose and walked, and she was of the age of 12 years. And they were astonished with a great astonishment. Okay. Alright. So a damsel was around the age of 12. Now, in the ancient world, okay, women got married around that age. Okay. This is an article. I'll post the links in the video in the description box so you can go and read it yourself. I'm just gonna pull out these points. Alright. It says marriageable age. It's from this article called Women of the Bible, Ancient Hebrew Women in Their World. Marriage by Mira Lester, excuse me. It says marriageable age. The most typical marriageable age for a girl was just after puberty. At 12 or 13, she was still most likely to do exactly what her father told her to do. So if the marriage was something the father wanted, his daughter generally consented. Once married, the young woman typically moved from her father's house to her husband's. As for the wedding, the ancient Israelites surely had them, but the Bible sheds little light on the ceremony. Most likely, families followed whatever local customs in the couple's village or regional dictate. Okay, so the marriageable age was just after puberty, which that's according to the Bible. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 36. It says, if any man think he behave himself uncommonly towards his virgin, right, which in the Greek right there is parthenos, Strong's Greek 3933 for virgin is parthenos in the Greek. It says a virgin, a marriageable maiden. Okay, all right. It says back in 1 Corinthians 7:36, but if any man think that he behaves himself uncommonly towards his virgin, all right, which is that young woman, if she pass the flower of her age and need so require, let him do what he will. He sinneth not, let them marry. All right, it says the flower of her age, and she must require that she pass it. Now, what is that? Let's go to Leviticus 15:24. Okay. It says, and if any man lie with her at all, and her flowers be upon him, he shall be unclean 7 days, and all the bed whereon he lieth shall be unclean. Now you look up that word flowers. All right. It's Strong's Hebrew 5079 nadah, which means menstruous, also called mens or period, which is the approximately monthly discharge of blood or cellular debris from the uterus by non-pregnant women from puberty to menopause. All right. Basically, once her body starts her menstrual cycle, she is at the age to be given away. And usually back in the ancient world, it was natural for a girl at the age of 12 or 13 to have her period. Okay, which in these days, due to all the chemicals and genetically modified foods and all these hormones and stuff in the foods and given to the animals, and then the products, it caused the bodies of these youths to hit puberty at 7, 8, 9 years old, which is not natural. Okay, so that's going off. Okay, but that goes back to the so-called white man and all his Frankenstein monster food, going back to Monsanto. So if you want to blame anybody for basically children experiencing puberty at the age of 6 to 8, thank the so-called white man. Okay, thank him. Alright, because back in the ancient world, they hit puberty at 12 or 13, which is according to the scriptures. Alright, so she was able to get married once she passed her flowers, basically start her menstrual cycle, which was around the age of 12 or 13. Okay, which that was a marriageable maiden. Okay. Alright. 1 Corinthians 7:36. But if any man think that he behaves himself uncommonly towards his virgin, if she pass the flower of her age and need so require, let him do what he will. He sinneth not, let them marry. Okay, which marriage is what? Sex, according to the Bible. Matthew chapter 19. Alright. Verse 3 through 6. It says, the Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? And he answered and said unto them, Have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female? Alright, going back to Genesis. So the Lord is quoting Genesis. The Lord created man and female as a means to procreate, alright, and generate life on the earth. It's only that is the boundaries of marriage between a man and a woman. Okay, not anything outside of that. That's going off. Verse 5, it says, and said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twine shall be one flesh. Alright, he's quoting from Genesis chapter 2. Alright, verse 24, it says, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Now, the word cleave right there, alright, is Strong's Hebrew 1692, which is the bak, which means to be joined together. Which the word marriage, let's get the dictionary from out of the Zondervan. Alright. So, alright, marriage, it says on page, this is out of the New Compact Bible Dictionary from Zondervan. On page 345, marriage, it says an intimate personal union to which a man and wife consent, consummate, and continuously nourished by sexual intercourse. Okay, so marriage is basically the joining together by the act of sex that submit or that consummated the whole marriage. All right, that is true marriage according to the Bible. Okay, because the word cleave in the Hebrew is the bak, which means to join together, which goes back to the definition of marriage. All right, a joining together by intimate union. Okay, all right, so that's what marriage is. All right, so let's go back to Deuteronomy. Okay, so now that we know the age of a damsel, all right, when it says a damsel was around the age of 12, okay, and for her to be dealt with, all right, i.e. to be taken as someone's wife, all right, she had to pass her flower of age, which is her menstrual. She has to start her menstrual cycle, all right, which started at puberty, which was around the time of 12 and 13. And the word virgin there, all right, meant a woman of marriageable age. Okay, back in 1 Corinthians 7:36, the word virgin there was Strong's Greek 39:33, parthenos, which means a virgin, a marriageable maiden. And we know what was the requirement. She had to pass her flower of age, which is she had to start her menstrual cycle. Okay, all right. So let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 23. It says, if a damsel, all right, that is a virgin, be betrothed unto a husband, all right. Virgin right there is batha wala. Let me pull it up in the Hebrew. All right. Make sure I got it right. Okay. That's a lot. Alright. Yeah. The word virgin right there is Strong's Hebrew 1330, Bathawala, which means a virgin, one that haven't been touched by a man, meaning she haven't had sexual intercourse. Alright. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 23. If a damsel that is a virgin, alright, one that haven't had sex yet, okay, be betrothed unto an husband, alright. Now the word betrothed, alright, is Strong's Hebrew 781, arash, which means to betroth, a pledge, engage, which the word engage means the first part in meaning make, and the gauge means pledge or promise to marry. To espouse, the word espouse means to take a spouse, marry, take in marriage, join in marriage, a woman to make a spouse. Alright, now this article right here, ancient Israelite marriages, alright, customs, it says that a betrothed woman was in the eyes of the people legally married. Okay? Alright? So even if she wasn't touched yet, but she was promised or pledged to someone, i.e. betrothed to a man, okay, in the eyes of all the people, she was it was as if they already had went through the whole consummation of marriage, which was through intercourse. She was legally considered his woman. All right, because this is back on the page, ancient Hebrew women in their world, women of the Bible, marriage by Margaret Lester. It says, according to the ancient Hebrew law, marriage between a man and a woman required three things. The man must pay the bride price, which is the dowry. The young woman and her father had to consent. All right, and for it to be considered legal, intercourse had to take place. But in this case, all right, because we looked up that word virgin, which was bathawala, all right, which means a virgin, a woman that's of a marriageable age that haven't had sex yet. All right, but she's considered married to that man because she's betrothed. All right, so it's as if they're married. That's the key. All right, now back to Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 23. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city. Now at the gate you had judges and officers that judged the people. Okay, that's Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 18. You can read that on your own. Okay, to the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city, and the man, because he have humbled his neighbor's wife. So thou shalt put away evil from among you. So in this case, it's adultery, because the young woman, number one, even though she haven't had sexual intercourse with her husband, through the pledge or being betrothed unto him, she was legally married to him. All right, therefore they were husband and wife. Okay, this other man had slept with her. All right, that would be considered adultery. All right, Leviticus 18:20 and Leviticus 20:10 tell you that you ain't supposed to lie with your neighbor carnally. You would defile yourself, and the judgment of that was both participants, the man and the woman, supposed to get put to death. Now she was going to get put to death because in this case, if the man had taken her and was trying to force himself upon her, she was supposed to cry out. Okay, and being in a public place like a city where there's a lot of people, someone would have came to her aid, and that the one that would have been judged was the man, not the woman. Okay, but because she didn't cry out and because he slept with her, both of them committed adultery or guilty of adultery. Therefore they was judged. Back to what we read in Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 22. Okay, that whole scenario. Let's keep reading. Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 25. It says, but if a man find a betrothed damsel, all right, which this will still be considered a married woman, all right, because like I said, according to our customs, a betrothed woman was in the eyes of the people legally married. Okay, all right, so this is a different scenario. Same setup with the woman. Even though she's not married yet, she's betrothed, meaning she's espoused or promised to a man, all right, to be taken in marriage. All right, but this time she's in the field, okay, which is a wide space where hardly no people be at. It says, but if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her, all right, and lie with her, then the man only that lie with her shall die. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man rise against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. So in this situation, all right, the guy who basically, in this case, is raping the woman, all right, he would be judged as a murderer, all right, on the fact that because this woman was betrothed. Okay, she cried out and nobody was there to save her, so she was in the eyes of the judges, and in sight of the Heavenly Father, she would be considered innocent in this case and not be considered adulterous. So she wouldn't get put to death because she cried out, meaning she wasn't with the act of this guy having sex with her. Okay, but he will be put to death because, like it says, a betrothed woman was in the eyes of the people legally married. It was as if he had rose up against his neighbor, because you got to remember when they have sex, they come together. They're no longer two anymore. They're one flesh. Okay, so they're not two separate people anymore. This was basically an act against the man, because the man is over the woman. That's 1 Corinthians 11:3. You can read that on your own. Okay, so it's as if he saw that man's nakedness, so he's supposed to get put to death. All right, so yeah, the guy was right when he posted that. This Yerad Yisrael, when he posted that, all right, on the comment board, but he didn't keep reading. Okay, because in that situation, yeah, the man would get put to death because he had basically raped a betrothed woman, or a woman that was already spoken for. But let's keep reading. This is Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 28. It says, if a man find a damsel that is a virgin, okay, so this is a damsel, alright, Naira, a young woman, girl, damsel, female servant, young woman, maid, marriageable young woman, around the age of 12, that had her menstrual, that is a virgin, Bathawala, alright, meaning she's a young woman of a marriageable age that haven't had sex yet, so she hasn't been touched yet, okay, which is not betrothed, so she's not promised to or espoused to anyone, she's single, okay, and he lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found, so he basically take it, which is rape, alright. Then the man that lie with her shall give unto the damsel 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her, he may not put her away all his days. So in that case, it was justified, okay? That rape was justified in the eyes of the Heavenly Father, alright, according to the laws. Let me get this. Psalms 19 and 9. Well, I'll start at 7. Psalms 19:7. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The statute of the Lord are right, rejoicing in the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. Alright? So the law is perfect, man. Alright? Now, in that case, that guy wasn't judged with the penalty of death. Okay? Now let's get this. This is from the same site, Women of the Bible, Ancient Hebrew Women in their world, Consequences of Rape. Alright? It says, Hebrew law states that if a man find a woman betrothed to another man in a field and rape her, he would forfeit his life and be put to death for violating another man's property. Alright, because a woman, or your wife, because the word woman in the Hebrew is the same. If it's translated to the English, it'll be translated as woman, wife, or female, which the Hebrew word is Ayasha. Okay, and sometimes it's placed as Aisha, but it should be Ayasha. Okay, which is the feminine tense for Ayash, which Ayash means man and Ayasha means woman. And the same for husband. Husband, man, and male is interchangeable. In the Hebrew, it'll be Ayash, but in the English, sometimes it's printed up as man, husband, or male. So you gotta know the Hebrew, or go back to the Hebrew to find what word it is. This is Ecclesiasticus out of the Apocrypha, chapter 36, verse 24. It says, He that getteth a wife begetteth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest. So a woman was considered that man's property. Okay? First the father's property, and then the husband's property once she was given to him. Okay? Alright? So back to the article. It says, Hebrew law states that if a man find a woman betrothed to another man in a field and rape her, he would forfeit his life and be put to death for violating another man's property. If he raped a virgin who was not yet betrothed, the rapist would have to pay the girl's father money, marry the girl, and never be able to divorce her, which we read. That's Deuteronomy 22, verse 28 through 29. It says, the rape of a woman in the ancient Hebrew society was not viewed as an injury or assault against the woman, so much as it was a property offense against the woman's father or mother. So in this society, because everything's turned upside down, like it said in Isaiah 29, I think verse 15, alright, and like it says in Psalms 82 and 5, that the foundations of the world is out of course, alright, because the so-called white man done flipped everything around. He have you think that rape is a capital, that is something evil, but it's only evil if a man take a woman that's already spoken for. That's where it's evil. But if she's not spoken for, all right, meaning she ain't betrothed to a husband and she's taken, then there's no penalty for that. That's why I said the rape of a woman in ancient Hebrew society was not viewed as an injury or assault against a woman like it is in these times. Okay, so much as it was a property offense against the woman's father or husband. This is illustrated in the consequences for the rapist. He atoned by marrying the woman and paying 50 shekels to the man whose woman he violated. Okay, that's right. It says it might have been a little dicey for the woman to remain married to the man who had violated her. Okay, but after being raped, she didn't really have any other options. In fact, she was considered unmarriageable, because when you read Deuteronomy chapter 22 verse 13 through 21, you had an instance that if, say, a guy married a girl, okay, and he claimed that, you know, she wasn't a virgin, they had to have proof of her virginity. Basically, when they will have the wedding night, they'll have whatever sheet, or they have to place a sheet under them, so that when the man basically so-called pops a cherry or breaks the seal, alright, which that was basically marking that covenant, alright, that the blood would be on the sheet, which would be a proof for her parents, just in case if that nigga wanted to get be stupid and basically bring up an evil report against his woman, alright, trying to dishonor her and her family, her father's house, okay, he will have the proof. But if he couldn't prove it, that she was a virgin, meaning there was no blood on the sheet, and it was true that what he was saying about her was that she wasn't no virgin, and that he, that she was wicked, okay, then what they'll do, they'll take her to the gate where the judges was, and if he found out that what he said was true, the husband saying that his wife wasn't a virgin, they'll stone her ass to death right in front of her father, okay, because she played a whore. But if it was found out that he was lying, okay, then he had to pay 100 shekels to the father and then get his ass whooped, okay, 40 stripes, was it 39 stripes plus 1, that's in what is that, Deuteronomy chapter 25, okay, the first 3 verses, alright, and he couldn't divorce that woman, okay. So this was very serious. So if a woman, a young woman, was taken by a man and she wasn't promising nobody, she was a virgin, the dude took her virginity, alright, which the only people that can be virgins is women, because they the only ones that bleed when penetrated, okay, let's get that right, okay. He couldn't just put her off, he had to take her as a wife, because nobody would want to take her. And if a situation like that came up and she was given to someone and they found out she wasn't a virgin, she can get put to death. So it says, in fact, she was considered unmarriageable. Great emphasis was laid upon women being virgins prior to marriage. Ancient Hebrew men did not marry women who were damaged goods. In the event of a man falsely accusing his bride of not being a virgin, and provided her family could prove otherwise, the groom would never be allowed to divorce the woman he had married. Okay. Alright. So that's from that article. This is from an article called Women and the Law in Ancient Israel. Okay. I'll go straight to the point. Okay, it said it says in Exodus 22:16-17, we read that a man who lies with an unbetrothed virgin must pay the marriage present and marry her. I get that, because that also ties in with Deuteronomy. That's a precept with Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 28 and 29. This is Exodus 22:16. Start with that. So it says, if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the diary of virgins, which that'll be that 50 shekels. Okay. Alright, it says back in the article, it says Deuteronomy 22:28-29, we learn that a man who rapes an unbetrothed virgin must pay 50 shekels to her father and marry her. A raped woman was considered unmarriageable. A forced marriage to her rapist was thought to be better than no marriage at all. Okay. Alright, so this guy's going off. Now that we know that, okay, that according to the Bible, alright, there is a such thing as an unlawful rape of a woman that's married, alright, or betrothed to a man, okay, that is going off, okay. But then if it's a virgin, she's not promised to anyone, she ain't married no one, she can be raped and taken, and that will be justified in the eyes of the Lord, okay. Now, to address the point, finish it up with this story, alright, you can read it in Judges, the whole story on your own, from Judges chapter 19 through 21. But I'm just going to highlight this point where you have an example in the history where Israel used that law, alright, to help build back up the tribe of Benjamin, okay? Because like I said, you can read it on your own, the whole account, what happened when the tribes of Israel fought against the tribe of Benjamin, alright, and basically damn near destroyed the tribe of Benjamin, excuse my language, basically destroying them down to 400 men, killing all the women and children. And Israel made an oath prior to making war with Benjamin, because they was justifying some sodomites that had basically sodomized this Levite's concubine to death, alright, that the Levite wanted justice because they killed his concubine by sodomizing her to death. So the elders had sent, chief men from the tribes to go and get these men, and the Benjamites had defended them, okay, saying, nah, we won't give them up. So then that's when they had this civil war, okay, and Benjamin had won the first two battles and killed a lot of Israelites of the other tribes, but in the last fight, the third battle, Israel, that's when they wiped them down to 400 men. So now they was at the point, okay, how are we going to give, we need to give Benjamin women so they can rebuild their tribe, because they had made an oath that none of them will give their daughters to be wives unto the Benjamites, okay. So they was in a catch-22. So I'm going to just read from that point down to the main part, and then I'm going to get these two scriptures in Corinthians. I'm going to wrap it up, because it's already been, it's a done deal. This is Judges 21:16. It says, then the elders of the congregation said, how shall we do for wives for them that remain, seeing the women are destroyed out of Benjamin? Alright, that's right. So in this case, this proves that the man generates the nation or the tribe. Your lineage comes through your fathers, because in this instant, all the women was destroyed out of the tribe of Benjamin and their children. Only 400 men survived. Okay. Verse 17. And they said, there must be an inheritance for them that be escaped of Benjamin, that a tribe be not destroyed out of Israel. Howbeit we may not give them wives of our daughters, for the children of Israel have sworn, saying, cursed be he that giveth a wife to Benjamin. Alright? And that's why the Lord had made that statement, to swear not, man. Okay? Because Israel, you can read countless times, Israel they end up getting caught up by making all these oaths and swearing, and it's just a big mess. And this is just one example. So now they caught, because they said, okay, if you give your daughter unto these Benjamites, you're going to bring a curse upon yourself. So you know Israel's scared of that, because that will actually happen. Verse 19, Judges 21:19. Then they said, behold, there is a feast of the Lord in Shiloh yearly, in a place which is on the north side of Bethel, and on the east side of the highway that goeth up from Bethel to Shechem, and on the south side of Lebanah. Okay, therefore they commanded the children of Benjamin, which you look up that word children as sons, bunyan in the Hebrew, bun meaning son, and yum making it plural. So they commanded the sons of Benjamin, saying, go and lie in wait in the vineyards. Okay, and see, and behold, if the daughters of Shiloh come out to dance in dances, then come ye out of the vineyards, and catch you every man his wife of the daughters of Shiloh, and go to the land of Benjamin. Now these are Israelites, Israelite women. Okay, because like this guy said, how can you teach about raping? What is it? How can you teach about raping sisters? Alright, talking about other Israelite women. Well, this is an instance where you had Israelite men from the tribe of Benjamin raping Israelite women from all the other tribes that was gathered at this feast. Okay. Then come ye out of the vineyards, and catch you every man his wife of the daughters of Shiloh, and go to the land of Benjamin. And it shall be, when their fathers or brethren come unto us to complain, just like these guys, you guys complain about this whole thing. Okay? Number one, to show that you guys are partial in the law, meaning you don't really study the law, you don't understand it. Or you do understand it, but you neglect to bring that information out because you just want to bring up a false allegation against Great Millstone, and saying that we a bunch of rapists and child molesters and pedophiles and into stuff like that, which that's not true. Okay, that's not true. Okay, so just like these men back then that would come to the elders and complain, their fathers and their brethren, come to complain. They said that we will say unto them, be favorable unto them for our sakes, because we reserve not to each man his wife in the war. For ye did not give unto them at this time, that ye should be guilty. And the children of Benjamin did so, and took them wives according to their number of them that danced, whom they caught. And they went and returned unto their inheritance, and repaired the cities, and dwelt in them. Okay? So you had an instance in the scriptures, in the account of our history, where you had Israelite men raping Israelite women that wasn't given to any man, that wasn't married, that was virgin. They took them and made them their wives. Alright? And that this was a way that those elders that had basically made that pledge out of zeal, alright, being zealous, overzealous, or over righteous, this was a way for them to somewhat help the tribe of Benjamin to be rebuilt, alright, without them actually bringing a curse upon themselves, because they said you didn't actually give them to them. You know, they was taken, but in this way it was still lawful in the sight of the Lord due to Deuteronomy chapter 22 verse 28 through 29. Alright, so that's a cut on you, Gerard Yisrael, and on General Yohana, which he's the main one that calls us a bunch of child molester rapists, as well as Nathaniel 7, an Israelite united in Christ. Alright. which they won't address that topic anyway. Okay, so let me get this. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 10. Well, let me start at 1 Corinthians chapter 6. 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 20. 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 12. It says, all things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under the power of any. Okay? That's right. Let's look up that word expedient in the Greek as well as in the dictionary. Okay? And this is getting old, man. Alright? You know, and according to end time prophecies, you're going to have women out here getting raped. Okay, so all this emotional, effeminate vibration amongst you so-called Israelites or guys that's claiming that you're Israel, y'all need to really man up and just deal with what the scriptures say, man. Stop being so damn emotional, like women. Alright, this is the Greek word for expedient.
Strong's G 4851. Sumfero.
Alright, it says to bear, bring together, to bear together at the same time, carry with others. It says to help, be profitable, be expedient. You look up the word expedient. I really like them definitions. Get it from the dictionary. Okay. Expedient. Alright, from the online etymology dictionary. Expedient. It says adventurous, fit, proper. Okay. Beneficial. Make, fit, or ready, prepared. Okay, expedient. So it just means, is it fit or proper? Is it beneficial? Okay, so let me read that again. This is 1 Corinthians 6 and 12. All things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient. All things are not fit or proper or beneficial for the time we in. Okay? And the time we in. Alright? Okay, all things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under the power of any. Okay, this is 1 Corinthians 10 and 23. All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. Like it says, not proper, fit, or beneficial. Alright, for these times. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not. That's right. Scriptures say this. It says, 1 Corinthians 14, 1 Corinthians 14, verse 12. It says, even so ye, for as much as ye are zealous of spiritual gifts, seek ye that ye may excel to the edifying of the church. Okay? That's our whole purpose, to edify the church. Okay? Alright? But going out there and raping unmarried virgins is not expedient. It is not fit, nor proper, nor beneficial for you in these times. Okay? That number one, that's fucking madness. Okay? To try to do something like that in this time, because number one, okay, you will get arrested for rape. Number two, you will get arrested for being a pedophile, because in the eyes of Esau, according to his law, you're not considered marriageable until you're 18 in some states. Other states is a little bit lower, but for the most part you got to be 18 in order to get married. Okay, so number one, you be committing rape, which according to Esau, that's pretty high punishment. Two, you be considered a child molester or a sex offender and a pedophile. Okay. Three, if you get prosecuted and you go to prison, your ass gonna get put to death because they don't tolerate pedophiles and rapists in prison. So that's not beneficial or not expedient, meaning it's not fit, proper, or beneficial to you if you're supposed to be excelling and edifying the church, which is prophesying, preaching, okay? Which that's our main thing. So you can't do that just because it's lawful. You can do it, but it's not expedient. It's not edifying. It edifies not. So for these guys that's calling us rapists, calling us child molesters or pedophiles, we're not committing these acts, okay? And that's a false accusation. And anybody that's taking believing that, all right, without examining what is being taught and examining the actions of brothers, if they operating in that, then you going along with an evil report, and that can bring judgment on yourself. Because I just broke it down according to the scriptures and according to research that yes, rape, if a man took a woman that was not betrothed, which was a virgin, right, and she passed her flower of the age, which is she's on her menstrual, or she's able to she started her menstrual cycle, all right, and he took her, she had to become his wife, and he had to pay 50 shekels to the father, and that would be his woman, all right, and that was justified in the eyes of the Lord. But that is not expedient, fit, proper, or beneficial for any brother to do that in these times. So let me get this and I'll end it on that. Proverbs 4. Yeah, Proverbs 4 and 7. Alright. It says, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom. What's wisdom? It contained in the scriptures. Alright. Tell you that keeping the law, statutes, and commandments would be our wisdom and understanding in the sight of the nations. That's in Deuteronomy chapter 4. You can read that on your own. Okay? When they hear about these laws and our customs. Okay? So wisdom is the principal thing, meaning the chief thing. Get wisdom. Okay? So you're supposed to get into the scriptures, you're supposed to get the knowledge and understanding of the scriptures. But it says, with all that getting, get understanding. So you got to get the understanding, and you got to understand what time we're in. Okay? Ephesians 5 and 15. It says, seeing then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understand what the will of the Lord is. Okay? That's right. So, for Yerad, Yisrael, and General Yohana, and ISUPK, Nathaniel 7, and Israel United in Christ, we got next, and Zabak, and the rest of those guys that's with them, alright, that's calling us rapists and child molesters and pedophiles. Y'all going off, okay, and you need to stop being so damn emotional, alright, okay. So with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Shema Shah, double honors to those great millstone, taught me this truth. Shalom to the Akim out there pushing the truth, alright. Brother Atas Bormia saying Shalom.